The camera working. The camera is a movie on it. And this is the improvisation class. Okay, a little background about me in a nutshell. A little background about me. How did I become an actor? What was my motivation? I started watching movies before, of course, before you were born. But before I came into this world, I know for a fact that when I was sitting in my mummy's womb, I was watching movies. Nobody believes me. But it's possible.
Your mom was a huge fan.
My mom was a huge fan, and I really believe that when I went to see the first movie ever, I was amazed. And I can tell you that to me it was not an unfamiliar place. I like the darkness, I like the largeness, I like the sounds coming from all over the place. It was in stereo those days, not some 5.1, 7.1 nonsense. But by the time I was, I couldn't speak very well. I had a speech defect. I used to lisp a lot, just like virus. I used to talk like virus, and whenever I spoke, just as you all laughed, they were something like that from me, clap, something like that. People used to laugh, and because they used to laugh, I thought there was something radically wrong with me, and because I thought there was something radically wrong with me, I shut up. So I never opened my mouth till I was a pretty big boy, and I went for speech therapy, and I corrected that. My mother helped me do that. But till then, what I used to do is I used to act, I used to perform, I used to watch movies, and I used to perform everything privately. In my own little room, in like my own acting studio, and I used to actually replicate everything that happened on the screen, from top to bottom, everything. By the time I grew a little older, by the time I was 18 or so, I was a kind of an encyclopedia on every film that was made, whether it's Hindi or whether it's French or whether it was a Hollywood film. I had seen everything. I would make a list of all the credits. Sometimes we didn't have IMDb in the Guru days. I'm talking about 1970s, okay? So I used to make a note of every single actor, director, stuntman, cinematographer, and everybody used to leave the theater, and I used to stand and watch the credits and say, come on, come on, come on, if you watch the credits, because you're amazed at the work that went into making one film. So if you ask me, 10 Commandments, who was the DOP, I would know it, even as a little kid. And people used to be amazed because I had other learning disabilities. I am very bad with numbers. I was dyslexic. Today after Tari Zameen Par, people know what dyslexic is.
Yeah.
You know the technical term for dyslexic before dyslexic word came along? Duffer. People used to call me Duffer. And Duffer, tera kya hoga? Golden words of Guru Singh. Tera kya hoga? What's going to become of this child? Because I was very, very different in that sense. I had numbers I couldn't remember. I still don't remember a number. You ask me, I asked this when we came up, which floor? I don't remember 2, I don't remember 7. But then thankfully God compensated me with some other part of the brain that was more active films. And I took to films so well. I used to then sit at the shop. We had a little shop in Grand Road. The stage is very big. The shop was even smaller than the stage. That was my life. I was a shopkeeper. We used to sell wafers, farsan, chivda. I used to make them. I used to fry them myself. I used to fry the wafers, fry the sari, bring them out in a hot pan, weigh them, put them on a weighing scale, staple it, spin it, thought I'd gone through some cocktail. And then, in my own version of the Salman Khan, sweaty as hell. But that's how that's what was my job. I did that job for 13 years. I got married, I had 2 kids while I was a shopkeeper. But while I was a shopkeeper, all my observation was about acting. Old people used to come to the shop, young people, bent people. It was a little shop in Grand Road in Bombay. And I started thinking, and I heard somewhere what method acting is all about. Because that was the time of Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Christopher Walken, and Marlon Brando. These guys I used to follow and read in any magazine that came away. There was no internet. Whatever I'm talking about is how Robert De Niro put on God knows how many kilos for Raging Bull. There has to be a poster somewhere in this. There has to be. And I said to myself, how do these people do it? Do they just put on weight? Is that what it is? You just put on weight and become that character? Yes or no? No. And I was lucky that I was bright enough to understand that. And I started observation on a very unnutty level. We're learning it in class, observation. You go out on the street, you observe somebody, you come back, you replicate it in class. Farik sir will say, fantastic. That's great. But there is much more to that observation. It's not about how a man holds his mouth in a particular way, or how a man gestures in a particular way, or how he sits, or how he crosses his legs and sits, or for that matter, how he says something. There is a life. You have to observe mainly that, and that is the difficult part. So, I used to observe how people used to pay me. It's called a galla. It's called a galla. Ask any Irani, he'll tell you. Irani, you'll have been to an Irani chai place. We used to make the wafers that you said buy at the Irani chai place. So when a man takes out a wallet from his pocket, you can size up the man. Can you really size him up? No. I say you can size up a pretty great amount. Can anybody tell me how? Put up, I want it proactive because for example, stand up and show me. Take out your wallet. Take it out. Girls don't go on a date with him. Next time he says that, takes you out for coffee and says, "Mike, back." So the thing is, that's the basic. You start put in your pocket. Yeah, you pay. I've given you your wafers. Is that how you do it? Don't try. Don't try. Never. Is that how you do it? Yeah. Let's have the money. He also gave it to me like this. Every single thing that comes, actually, the externalization of what he's doing is part of his internalization. It doesn't come from thin air. Now, for example, take out your wallet, put it in ulta, notice. You put it in the Gandhiji ulta, head first. Notice that, turn around, Baba, turn around. Yeah. 3 rupees. No change? Okay, then give me some money. Don't trust anybody. Yeah, it's now what I'm trying to say is, you can remove a wallet in 20 different ways. I can judge you. This is an external. You know what an external and internal is, right? Paresh? Yeah. Paresh, sorry. The external is if a man removes his wallet and does this. He's hiding what anybody else?
He doesn't know how much he has.
One second.
He doesn't know how much he has, or if he's not sure about
Part of it. Anybody else?
He has more amount of money.
No.
He doesn't have money.
He's ashamed of the amount of
No,
money he has.
no, it's all right. He doesn't have much
So
money.
he's ashamed.
I may have a lot of money. He could be ashamed. I may have no money. And I can still do that without no money. I can still do that. I'm an open person. I'm not afraid of the fact that I don't have money. I may be a very rich man. I forgot money. Big deal.
He's an introvert person.
It is suspicious. If somebody takes our wallet with many thousand rupee notes in it, and he does like, how much is it?
Sure.
I can tell that you are a far more reasonably organized and methodical person. By the way you keep your money. You shove your money ulta was nervousness. You see, so every gesture, believe me, what we do is we read a script. And have you all been reading scripts? Not yet. But when you read a script, do you know what you look for? You know what people, the first thing you're going to do is, when you get an acting part, you read a script, you read a page. What do you look for? What do you look for? idealistic world when you're starting saying, no, we look for character. You will look for your dialogues. You will look for the size of your part. You will look whether you have a dramatic scene. You will look मैं दूसरे को कैसे खा जाऊं. What you're actually supposed to look for is this story worth telling. That's what you look for. And I tell you, there are so many films that I have done, and I've done some nonsense in my life. And I've done some good films in my life. And it doesn't matter to me the length of the story. It doesn't. The length of the part. The length of the part. You can talk to my directors and they'll always tell you, this part services the story. Because if the story is not told well, your part has no meaning. And if it's not a story worth telling, your part has no meaning. And if it's a story that does not come out well, you know, I'll tell you, take a classic example. There are so many films that I believe that I did a good job. I did a good job in the film. But the film was not great. Do you know that good job becomes a bad job because the film is not great? And if you do an average job in a great film, in a good film, then the average job becomes a good job. And if you do a good job in a great film, it becomes super because people are noticing. They are following you. They're following everything because they are not following you. They're following the film, not the character. They're following the story. Every character, and this is the most important thing I might say to you, every character must have a want. If there's no want, this is where he starts, this is where he'll end. If there's a want, and that's the want, that's his learning curve. Without a want, so even if it's not in the script, sit down, read it once, twice, 10 times, 40 times. Don't read your lines. Sometimes when they come to me with scripts, I say, don't tell me my part. Because I'll be concentrating on, maybe entry. Tell me the story. Does it grab me? By page 15, have they grabbed me? Remember, understand screenplay also. Whatever you do, even if you don't want to be directors, and I think all want to be actors, hence you'll come to a school called An Actor Prepares. But understand screenplay. Page 1 to 30 will be the establishment. 30 to 60 will be the conflict. 60 to 90 will be the resolution. Very important. So when you're setting up, when you're having the character here, without the establishment of the character, what am I, what do I do, what do I read, what's my routine, who do I hate, who do I love, and my want, you will not get into the conflict. Because all stories, every single story that is ever worth listening to has to have conflict. Stories come from conflict. Do you know this?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, brother. I don't want to repeat too much, so if there's anything that you have touched upon, I will not repeat it. So here we are, conflict and resolution, because people want you to make that resolution. They want you to either change, and if you don't want to change, they want to see you there. So study the story. I want to ask you a question and be really, really honest. There are two things that you will come out of this class with, or in your career, or in your lives. And I want really, really honest answers. The first one is, how many of you want to be stars? Super. I'm very, very impressed. Stars, 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 stars. All right. Great. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. And I'm not making the guys who have put up their hands and now feel bad. That's fine. You have. And if I'm running a parallel life with you right now, you have a want. So be clear. You want to be stars. And you will have a curve. Till you get there. A desire. So in parallel life, you have told me you guys have a what? Agreeing? How many of you want to be actors? You repeated, someone repeated. How many repeaters? Put your hands down. Now the repeaters, put your stars and actors. Acting stars. You have even clear one, that's fine. Star and actor? Only star. You? Actor. Star and actor. Now, my point, what I'm trying to say is that Believe me, in these changing times, in this changing world of Indian cinema, we only have references of Indian cinema, right? Times are changing. Understand that very clearly. We can become stars, but it's not in your hands. You can do what you want. You can have a PR machinery. You can have the best. What do they call those guys who make their noses long and then they flip out? Yeah. And they all need them. The beautiful ones also need them. In fact, the most beautiful ones seem to go to the plastic surgeons. I don't know why. So, you can have the best makeup artist, you may have the best hairstylist, you may have the best body sculptor, you may have everything in the world, and you may look $1 million. You may look like $1 million, but let me guarantee you this. It does not guarantee you stardom. Stardom, and I don't know whether I should be saying this because this is really, mumbo jumbo, but stardom's got to do with the stars. Yeah. You do not have it in your hands to become a star. Now, if you have it, great. You can have the most influential father for a producer director. We've seen those stories before. It's not a guarantee. It's a step in the door. It's a foot into the door. Nothing more than that. The struggle becomes greater. Because they feel, this is my launch, this is my this, I've done this class, I've done that class, I've got this, I've lost, I have not lost anything. But stardom is not in your hands. What is in your hands? So God forbid you don't become stars. Why have you come here otherwise? Just at least give it a shot at it. Because any knowledge is power, right? Soak in all the knowledge and then stick to your one. You want to be a star? Proud of it. You want to be a star? Proud of it. Go ahead. Because those guys are actually the role models when you think about it. In many ways, for a great generation. But there are also the great role models over here who have lasted 30 years in the business. I'm just giving you little warning signs. Longevity comes from knowledge and the continuum of that knowledge. There is nothing else to it. Remember, a star, I hate to say this, might last for 10, 15, 20 years. Yes, they do. But they are also actors who are buried deep down inside. The acting gets buried. And that's fine. I have no problem with stars. I admire. You were one of God's chosen few. In a family of 3 or 4, just one of them gets out there and becomes a star. Nobody has any and there's a struggle, let me tell you. But if it is coupled with great acting, and at least the knowledge of acting, because you may go out there and you might have to do what is known as the typical. What calls the cliche. You have to do it, man. It's the most deadly thing in the world is that you can learn acting for 5 years and then they go on the set and the first line you have to say, somebody gives some news to you and you have to say, that kya is the most difficult thing for me to say. I don't have to say kya. But that's cliche acting. And that's also part of the requirement. And you've got to do it. But you've got to do it your way. Say the kya in your way. Do the cliche. And if that film requires a cliche, do it your way. Make it original. Nobody's ever said a kya like that. But if it comes from a little bit of a background of knowing who the kya, all your regular things. Knowing your character, where is he coming from, where is he going, what is his history, what is his motivation, all of that. Trust me, if you go through that entire gamut of stuff, your kya will be even better. Let me tell you how many times has somebody told an actor, an actress, or a character, I love you. It's a damn difficult thing to say. But if you go through the entire gamut of all that has been taught in this class, and more, and life, that I love you will be different. It will be yours. It comes from somewhere. It comes from understanding who the character is, what is his position in time, what is his position in the story, what is his, where is he, what is his emotion at that point in time, what is his motivation. You do the I love you better than anybody else. Even cliche. cliche requires good acting or the knowledge of acting. We do the same thing sometimes, but we try. We try because we're actors, and we try because we love what we do. I think we all love what we do. We all love it here. I'm waiting to stand in front of the camera and start. But my excitement is never necessarily on the studio floor. I drive myself crazy, and I keep it very private. Sometimes you may go and ask a director, what's my motivation? He has no clue. It's your job. It's your job sometimes to find out what's happening at that point of time. It's your job at that point to discover some business, to do something. Because actions and words together make the power. Sometimes actions speak louder than words. We all know that. Our grandfather told us. An acting teacher will tell you that even more. Sometimes if I know how to turn on a switch, what does this suggest to you? Why is it that I don't know? But if I'm talking to you and I say that acting is a feeling, what do I suggest? I'm the boss of this place. I know the place. I have not broken my step by the way. I don't know whether I can turn on the fan. Yeah, that's how I know this place. But even that little gesture tells you 10 times more than a dialogue. One of those. It tells me that this guy has been standing on the stage talking to these classes for the last 3 years. It gives me a sense of familiarity or an unfamiliarity. Trust me, if I go and if I'm angry and if I'm upset about something and I go to turn on the switch, very bad acting, but you get the idea. Then I'm angry, I'm jittery, I'm turning on a switch like the walking exercise. Now, we've got lots of time, but I'd like to break it up by you asking me 10 minutes of general break questions. General, about acting, about character, about building a character, about whatever. Go for it. Do you understand that? Sit down.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Two questions.
2 questions, okay.
Firstly, when you do a scene and the dialogues are already decided,
Right.
how do you focus on your co-actor or actor's dialogue and deliver yours with the actor version?
Very good question. There's no such thing as an act emotion.
For
Alright?
that scene.
For that particular scene. See, first of all, to me, if you have the luxury or the honor of rehearsing with someone, you are the lucky actor. You're a lucky actor. I sometimes, through a drink at night, tell the other actors my problem. Yeah, I'm really fixed. I can't remember the liner. Let's rehearse now. Okay. Rehearsal. Familiarity with 2 things. One of the greatest actors in the world, who is not mentioned right now, the gentleman called Spencer Tracy. He won 2 awards back to back, 2 Oscars, and then many years later, Tom Hanks broke that record, equaled that record, 2 Oscars back to back. One of the most underrated actors of all time. In his time, rated. Today, nobody talks about Spencer Tracy. He said 2 things to students. 1, what do I do to become a better actor? Guess what he said? Yes, 2 things. 1 line, somebody, what was the first thing he said?
Practice.
Practice. Rehearsal. I'll tell you what he said. No, that's all. Learn your lines and hit your marks. That's all. Now, I'd like you really to sit with these 2 lines and understand what he was really saying. What does learn your line means? Learn your lines mean. Yeah. Sorry? Sorry? Grab. Explain that. Rakama.
It should be on the auto mode, like it comes out even if you're thinking something else.
Very good, very good. What else? What else? Yeah?
You should be fluent with your line language. You should not
Fluent, auto mode. Next.
You basically should understand what you're saying so that you can, emote
you.
it that way.
Thank you. You know, have you ever seen outtakes in movies?
Yeah.
Yeah? Everybody comes, I missed the line. And something is serendipitous. 10 times an actor will stumble on one line. One line, or one word. But actors forget that one line even if they know it back to front in their sleep. Why do they forget that one word? Because they don't understand it. One of three things. A, they don't understand the meaning of it. Means. They don't understand the grammatical dictionary meaning of the word. Sabbatical. Okay. Serendipitous. And I got the serendipitous. Now, you can read it off the page. You can't say it from your mouth. Why? Because your insights and the honest insights of you are not convinced that you actually know what serendipitous means. So you go up, look up a dictionary, and you understand what is the dictionary meaning of serendipitous. Stage 1. What's stage 2? What is serendipitous?
How is it connected to what you're saying? The background of it, basically.
How is it connected to what I'm saying? Why am I feeling serendipitous right now? It can also mean something else. It doesn't have to say, if I say I love you. Yeah, what am I saying? I'm saying I don't necessarily love you. I mean sarcastically. Yeah, sure. I love you. If I look into your eyes and say I love you, and if the intensity of the I love you, that actually gauges the character and the emotion and the interaction with you. It's got to do with the character. It's to understand it. There's another way that the reason why people forget their lines. Context of what I'm saying. 3. Very important. Very important. What is it actually saying? Am I saying? You're doing damn smart now. Did I mean that? No, of course not. What is on here, that guy? I'll be back. Is he prone to cry? No. I want you to cry again. So my point is, what is the subtext of that? What is he actually saying? Sometimes it can have a subliminal meaning, it can have a sarcastic meaning, or sometimes it could be the theme of the film. It could be the theme. If you understand. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Guys, everybody sit down for a second.
When we talk about emotions, you already told us how important breathing is.
Right.
So how do you...
One sec. Emotions and breathing.
Yes, I'm trying to...
Where's the...
लाइफ में observe करके उसे कैमरा के सामने कैसे इंटीग्रेट करते हैं?
I do not breathe. The only thing, it's up to you what you're actually truthfully feeling at that point of time. It's all about truth at the end of the day. Lies that become truth. That's the bottom line. Lies that become the truth. Yeah. See, it's pushing me out of my comfort zone. See, this will be a reason for you to do something. It puts you out of your comfort zone. They don't know you. Come back. Go back.
दीपक चले ना
Oh yeah, see. Feel the emotion.
Next slide. All the students 59 to 7. Thank you. Settle down. Done. 61.
61.
16%. Guys, settle down. 60. Done, Nilesh. Done. Guys. 61.
Where's she from? Okay, 63. डॉलर दे दो, never use it. गरीब को दे दो, लेकिन don't. वो dead हो जाता है, dead material. Again putting money. Don't. It's not made for this.
This is as memory only.
But darling, give it to a purpose. If you want to keep it in the cupboard, give it to a purpose.
मैंने टच कर लिया अभी हो गया ना.
Give it to a purpose. हाँ.
जिंदे.
Oh boy. I just I love Mama.
First floor.
मोहन सर सामने सर. वो सामने देखिए सर. सर यहाँ पे. थैंक यू.
आज की सुबह या जब आपको बताया गया कि अनुपम खेर की एकेडमी में जाना है, बच्चों को स्पीच देनी है, उन्हें कुछ बातें अच्छी बताएं, क्या कुछ फीलिंग थी आपके दिल में? क्या कुछ कहना चाहेंगे?
पहले तो खेर साहब ने जब ये क्लासेस शुरू किए थे 10 साल हो गए मेरे हिसाब से, तो पहला लेक्चर मैंने ही दिया था. तो मैं आई वॉज वेरी एक्साइटेड टू डू दिस. जब मुझे फ़ोन करके कहा कि प्लीज़ आइए, क्योंकि हम अनुपम खेर शो पे कुछ भी हो सकता है, मिले थे वापस. सर बोले क्लास में आना चाहिए आपको, तो मैं क्यों नहीं. ही इज़ अ डियर फ्रेंड. आई लर्न सो मच फ्रॉम हिम, एंड इफ आई कुड बी ऑफ एनी हेल्प टू द किड्स आई वुड बी मोर देन हैप्पी. लेकिन फीलिंग ये है, बहुत सिंपल सी फीलिंग है कि कभी कभी क्या होता है कि मैं जब एक्टर था, बहुत सारे एक्टर्स NSD गए थे, FTI गए थे, मैं इतना लेट आया था एक्टिंग की दुनिया में कि मुझे इतनी गाइडेंस नहीं मिली थी. और ऑन द जॉब मुझे बहुत सीखना पड़ा. और गाइडेंस न सिर्फ एक्टिंग की टेक्निक की, लेकिन हाउ टू बी एन एक्टर इस दुनिया में. मतलब क्या करना चाहिए, क्या नहीं, छोटे छोटे टेक्निक्स होते हैं. लाइफ की फिलॉसफी भी होती है, वो भी सीखने को बहुत बहुत ज़रूरी होती है. I found it very charming to share it with the children. I'm calling them children, they're all adults. Yeah.
Coming back to school, how nostalgic was it for you?
I never went to school. I find it actually, जब स्कूल में या कोई क्लास में जब वापस आता हूँ, मुझे नॉस्टैल्जिया के बजाय मुझे ये फीलिंग आती है कि आई फाइंड माई इनोसेंस अगेन. वो फीलिंग आती है क्योंकि हम लोग जब आज एक्टिंग करते हैं बहुत सारे फिल्मों में, बड़े बड़े स्टार कास्ट, बड़े बड़े बजट्स के फिल्म्स, हम लोग अपनी मासूमियत कहीं पे खो देते हैं. तो वो मासूमियत जहाँ से हम एक्टर बने, वो कायम रखना चाहिए हमारे दिल में, हमारे दिमाग में आगे, क्योंकि उसी मासूमियत ने हमें एक्टर बनाया. Am I using the right word? मासूमियत is right? The correct word, ना? उसी मासूमियत ने हमें एक्टर बनाया. To start off with, we become actors because we were innocent, and we did things with a great amount of innocence. We have to keep that innocence going. तो यहाँ पे आके बच्चों के सामने बातें करके it rekindles innocence. बोलने का मतलब ये.
सर इस तरह के इंस्टीट्यूट्स को आप किस तरह देखते हैं? कितना जरूरी है आजकल के दौर में इस तरह के इंस्टीट्यूट का होना?
भाई बहुत ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि इतने सारे स्टूडेंट्स जो अच्छे खासे टैलेंट के होते हैं, विदाउट इंस्टीट्यूशन, विदाउट एनी नॉलेज बॉम्बे आ जाते हैं एक्टर बनने को, और दे गेट सम रॉन्ग आइडिया ऑफ द प्लेस, और दिल टूटता है उनका और चले जाते हैं. इंस्टीट्यूट आएंगे. आज की सिनेमा देखिए ना, आज की सिनेमा कमाल की फिल्म बन रही है, एक से एक फिल्म बन रही है. आई थिंक एक्टर शुड बी ट्रेंड. अगर आपको ड्राइविंग सीखनी है तो आप ड्राइविंग स्कूल जाएंगे, है ना. अगर आपको कोई भी चीज़ सीखनी है तो आप स्कूल में जाएंगे. डायरेक्टर जाके पिक्चर में काम थोड़ी करेंगे, थोड़ा बहुत तो सीखना ज़रूरी है. So I feel there should be lot more institutes. In fact, the government should take it up on a much bigger level, and also whenever it's possible, I am always very happy to help. Keeps me going. Sorry. Sorry.
After achieving this much, also you have told in your interviews कि आप आज भी learn करते हैं हर दिन. यहाँ के आपने क्या give and take relationship में आज क्या सीखा आपने?
मैंने वही कहा कि जैसे कि मैं यहाँ आके मैं अपने आप को याद कर रहा हूँ जब मैंने मेरी पहली पिक्चर की थी, एक मासूमियत की बात कर रहा हूँ. आई थिंक इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू गो बैक टू फाइंड दैट इनोसेंस. मैंने यहाँ के जो डायरेक्टर हैं इंस्टीट्यूट के, मैंने उनसे पूछा कि अब तक इन्होंने क्या सीखा है, तो वो लिस्ट बताई. तो वो लिस्ट में कभी कभी मुझे आई एम फीलिंग अशेम्ड दैट देयर सर्टेन थिंग्स आई हैव फॉरगॉटन. सीखा होगा लेकिन 20 साल पहले, और आदमी भूल जाता है. स्कूल में जो सीखते हैं हम भूल जाते हैं. तो इट रिमाइंड्स मी इवन ऑफ अ सिंपल टेक्निक. उसके अलावा एक सिंपल लाइफ की फिलॉसफी है, बी ट्रूथफुल टू योर सेल्फ, एक्टिंग विल कम टू यू नॉर्मली.
सर एक
जी पूछिए ना.
आपके प्रोजेक्ट के बारे में जानना चाहेंगे.
प्रोजेक्ट अभी हम कर रहे दिलवाले रोहित शेट्टी की फिल्म है, शाहरुख खान, काजोल. बहुत मज़ा आ रहा है. मुझे तो ऐसा लगता है कि हर फिल्म में मैं करते रहता हूँ शाहरुख के साथ, तो और डबल इंजॉयमेंट हो जाती है. रोहित तो इज वंडरफुल गाय टू वर्क विथ. आई वाज नॉट एक्सपेक्टिंग सो मच फन. वी आर हैविंग अ ग्रेट टाइम मेकिंग दिलवाले. फिर हाउसफुल 3 की शुरुआत होगी अगस्त सितंबर में. और एक और फिल्म है जो मैंने अब तक साइन नहीं किया, लेकिन सोच लो कि मैं कर ही रहा हूँ. वो बहुत अच्छी फिल्म है.
सर एक दौर था ट्रेडिशनल सिनेमा मेकर यशराज जैसे, करण जौहर जैसे, लेकिन आज दौर बदला है, नए लोग आ गए, रियलिस्टिक सिनेमा का जमाना आ गया, विशाल भारद्वाज जैसे. तो आप इस चीज़ को कितना देखते हैं अच्छा फिल्म इंडस्ट्री के लिए?
देखिए, हर तरह की सिनेमा होनी चाहिए. मैं कहता हूँ कि ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि रियलिस्टिक सिनेमा ही आ जाए और एंटरटेनिंग सिनेमा बंद हो जाए. अभी कॉमन मैन को कौन एंटरटेन करेगा भाई? आई फील ऑल काइंड्स ऑफ सिनेमा आर नेसेसरी, फ्रॉम आर्ट सिनेमा to alternative cinema to some kind of realism, या अपना good old entertainers, अमर अकबर एंथनी टाइप के entertainers जरूरी है भाई. हम भी देखते हैं अमर अकबर एंथनी, तब क्या हम क्या अब बड़े हो गए क्या? we should watch all movies innocently for what they are worth. हर पिक्चर की जगह है. और मैं मानता हूँ कि हमारे अवाम को इतनी टेंशन होती है, बस एक to earn a living. संडे पे उसको वो एक पिक्चर देखनी है फैमिली के साथ. गिव हिम हिज एंटरटेनमेंट ना. डोंट बिकम आर्टिस्ट्स, डोंट बिकम इंटेलेक्चुअल फॉर द कॉमन मैन. गिव हिम हिज
सर आजकल एंडोर्समेंट को लेकर काफी चल रहा है बच्चे साहब के ऊपर. तो मैं चाहूंगा कि कितनी रिस्पांसिबिलिटी बढ़ती है एक इंसान के ऊपर. जस्ट एज अ मेंबर फ्रॉम द फ्रेटर्निटी, जस्ट वांटेड टू नो कि एफआईआर फाइल हुआ है एक्टर्स के अगेंस्ट, जबकि उनकी कोई गलती, दे जस्ट एंडोर्स इट. हाउ राइट और रॉन्ग इज इट? जस्ट वांटेड टू गेट योर वर्ड्स.
I feel that you can actors are not, I don't think, in my opinion, they have to be responsible when picking a product, but we are talking about a multinational giant of a company. Now, do we go into the lab and do the testing ourselves? I don't think that's possible. And even if we do, are we going to understand it? I mean, we should stop advertising completely then. Is that possible? There's no other way anybody can advertise and say that I went into the lab, I tested that thing for years and years and years and say it's clean, now you can sign me. I don't think that's right. I mean, the person who manufactures and promises what he's saying should be held responsible.
तो क्या आप फ्यूचर में एक्टर्स जैसे मिस्टर बच्चन ने किया है, एक क्लॉज अपने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में साइन कर दे कि व्हाटएवर द प्रोडक्ट इज,
होना ही है. It should be there.
Do you think actors will come up with this clause?
See, this is the world has become about clauses. You go on to a page of some website, there's a clause, you just tick box it, read the damn thing. Thank you very much, enjoyed. Wow. That's the same thing you're doing. The same thing you're doing. Where were you all? थोड़ा हाँ. Sis, Paranjpe. How's it going, Paranjpe?
सर आपने हैप्पी न्यू ईयर की फराह खान के साथ कैसा एक्सपीरियंस रहा? और आपने उस फिल्म को, जब मैं हूं ना की सक्सेस पार्टी थी, तभी आपको वो चीज़ डिस्कस हुई थी, लेकिन फिल्म में देरी हुई बनने में, इस वजह. तो क्या कहना चाहेंगे फराह खान के बारे में?
फराह खान एक्चुअली मुझे पहली बार बनी, तो आई थिंक इट वाज अ ग्रेट एक्सपीरियंस.
कि शूटिंग के दौरान मैं होना चाहिए कुछ
ऐसे आई डोंट रिमेम्बर थिंग्स लाइक दैट, बट एक चीज़ होती है कि जब आप एक